So let's talk about the Google graveyard. Now, Google has a habit of killing off products, even products that people like. So we'll go over this list in a bit at the end of the video, but basically, if a product is deemed to not be performing well enough to be worth it, the product may be terminated. Now, this has the side effect of causing people to lose trust in Google products. So this leads some people to not want to commit themselves to a product if it was made by Google. So there's always the idea that if Google produces a product, even a really good product, there's a good chance that they will kill it off eventually. This may happen soon, like Google Stadia, the gaming system that they created, the game streaming system. It may happen quick like that within a year, or it may take a few years. So, yeah, there are some products that you would assume are going to be good and done right because a lot of times Google is really good at doing things right. So, you have to give them that. So you might assume these products would be good, but because they are Google products, like Google domains, um, you might assume they'd be good. Like you'd think something like Google domains, that's domains done right, from Google. That would be a trusted place to buy a domain. But even that was killed off, and oftentimes we're surprised at the actual products that they kill off. That they kill off actual good products, things that you think of all the companies to sell domain names, Google would be in exactly the right position to do that. So Google has done some amazing things. For example, Google Fiber, doing great things for the world, putting companies like Verizon to shame. And that was kind of the point behind Google Fiber. I can only hope that Google Fiber grows and is never killed off. Like that's one product I actually would trust, and I sure hope it isn't killed off, but anything could happen. So I'm never going to commit myself to a Google chat service. That's one service from Google I'm just never going to start committing myself to and getting used to using. Now, it would be nice to have something to use from Google as a default chat service, just the default place where anyone you can contact, and you can find mostly anyone on there, because you can assume everyone will have a contact there. Basically, everyone you have in Gmail. Like if someone has a Gmail address, you could chat with them. So a chat product from Google would be great. But they've done this and they switched it up so many times, because basically they've changed, killed, recreated, and rebranded their chat, voice, and meeting products so many times that I've lost track. I actually lost track of all of that probably 8 or 9 years ago. And I actually remember I had to actually go through and, I think I even checked on Wikipedia to look at all the different changes that they made just to sort of figure out what's going on with their products. And that was like 8 or 9 years ago. And they've still managed to swap their products around several more times since then. So, yeah, I'm definitely never going to be using a Google Chat product. At least I'm not going to commit myself on it or count on it or make a habit of using it. So yeah, there's that. They've actually decommissioned a lot of software over the years. You can find a big list of it on this website here that I'm going to show you, and I'll check the link in the description. I have a link to that website, not my website, but I'll leave a link to that website in the description of this video. But let's cut over to that site right now. All right, so this is the site, Killed by Google. So yeah, this is I'm going to put this URL here down in the description of the video if you want to check that out, if you want the actual link. But yeah, Killed by Google, and you'll see there are 293 products apparently killed or planning to be killed by Google. Now, up at the top here, you have you have 4 of these. You see the guillotine here. That means these are about to be killed. So right now it is March 2024, and yeah, this one is planned to be. This one has a whole year left. This one, maybe half a year or so. Like it's going in September, and these 2 are in April. So next month these are going to be gone. So these top 4 are planned to be cut. The rest of them after this are already cut. They're already dead. So if you scroll on down here, at the very bottom. So I am going to go through each one of these, but yeah, at the very bottom, I just wanted to show you, this is Killed by Google, is the Google Graveyard. It's a free open source list of discontinued services, products, devices, and apps. And they say, hey, we aim to be a source of factual information about the history surrounding Google's dead projects. Contributors from around the world help research, maintain information, dying Google Apps, blah, blah, blah. And apparently they have a discussion on GitHub, a project by Cody Ogden. So yeah, go check out these. Like, after you follow this link in the description of the video, you might want to go check out their GitHub and yeah, check out this guy's projects. Also, any inquiries, he put an email right here. So anyways, yeah, let's just jump right up to the, let's just jump right up to the top here and go through each one of these one at a time. So yeah, first one, Google Jamboard, not something I've used. Kicking the bucket in 10 months. Yeah, it was a native whiteboard that offered rich collaborative experience. 8 years old, they're getting rid of it. Jamboard, yeah, going poof in 7 months. Jamboard was a digital 4K touchscreen whiteboard, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to kind of skim over most of these, but talk about what I think is important. I never used either of these. Dropcam, sentenced to death in 25 days. Dropcam was a line of Wi-Fi streaming cameras acquired by Google in 2014. Yeah, so it's going to be about 15 years old at the time of death. So they acquired the service and now they're killing it off. So Google Podcast, sentenced to death in 19 days. Google Podcast was a podcast hosting platform and Android podcast listening app. It will be almost 6 years. Yeah, and that's the thing. You really, if you want something you want to stick with, you're better off getting a third-party podcast app if you're on Android. If you're on Apple, you might get something else for your iPhone or whatever. So you can trust, like, a product made by Apple. You can pretty much assume, like, they have a lot of products they've built that you can count on them having with their phones because they want them to be available to support their phones. Whereas with Google, they might kill off an important product like Google Podcasts. You'd think they would keep it alive purely for the purpose of just having a podcast app made by them for their phones, just to make sure there's at least one default good app out there for podcasts. But apparently not. They don't care enough to do that. So anyways, Google Domains. Now, this one was really surprising. You'd think, Google being in the business that they're in, this is something that they would want to hold on to and have control over. And you'd think, since it's domains and they're kind of like an internet monopoly, that they would kind of want to do this. They would probably do it right, except for privacy concerns. And yeah, it's really surprising they got rid of that. But yeah, like a 9-year run. So there was that. There's Google Optimize, never used this, haven't heard of it until now, but yet another product for web analytics and testing tool that does experiments, blah, blah, blah. All right, Pixel Pass. It was a program allowed users to pay monthly charge for their Pixel phone and upgrade immediately after 2 years. Okay, so Google Cloud IoT Core, Google Album Archive, YouTube Stories, Grasshopper, all of those getting cut. Conversational Actions, Google Currents, Google Street View, now standalone app. It's not that they're getting rid of Street View altogether, but they had a standalone app that you could use for Street View. If this is the one I'm thinking of, I actually had this on my phone and I used the app to record some really neat 360 degree pictures basically from all around and posted them up online, and they end up on Google Maps. It was basically, unless I'm confusing this app with another one, this is the app that I had on my phone to record 360 degree pictures for Google Maps, which is a lot of fun. It's going to a new place, recording something, submitting it, and having it show up on Google Maps. It's pretty neat. I actually, given you're helping Google for free, you're like working for them for free, but I actually enjoyed using that one. That is kind of sad to see that go, but I believe there's an alternative, but I haven't looked into it yet. They may let you just do that with the Google Maps app. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. So Jacquard, it was a small tag, blah, blah, something or other. Anyways, there's a ton of these that may or may not be important. All right, Google Code Competitions. So yeah, that's a good thing to have. Kind of sad to see that go. Google Stadia. All right, now this is a little crazy. I cannot believe they actually went through the trouble to, put something like this out and commit so much to this and then just kill it off a year later. And after a year, I mean, that's a little too early to tell if it's going to be a failure or they're going to lose money or whatever. You would think this would be an area they'd want to stick in if they're going to put a product like this out. They actually had, I believe, physical controllers that you could actually buy specifically for this, and they manufactured actual hardware for this, and the product still got cut. Really crazy to think. So Google On Hub. This one's another thing with actual hardware, and yeah, see, like this one up here was a service with hardware. This one was actual hardware that they got rid of. Yeah, so it was a series of residential wireless routers manufactured by ASUS and TP-Link, powered by Google software, managed by Google Apps, blah, 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 special features like Google Assistant. Okay. YouTube Originals killed about 1 year ago. So, YouTube was actually coming out with original series to kind of promote YouTube and get people to want to buy, a pro version of YouTube or a paid subscription to YouTube. And, you'd think like everyone else is doing it, like Amazon's doing it, Apple's doing it. You'd think, just to kind of be competitive, YouTube has to do it. That's probably why they did it. And they just killed it right off. They don't care. They don't care about being competitive. It wasn't making them enough money or wasn't popular enough, so they just cut it. And that's just something Google does. Does not make sense to me, but, who am I to criticize them? So, yeah, Threadit killed about a year ago. Threadit was a tool for recording and sharing short videos. Okay. I had never heard of this, but I don't know. Just another thing they've killed. Duplex on the web. So it was a Google Assistant technology. So yeah, just another thing they got rid of. Now Google Hangouts. Now this was the latest version of their messaging software that I believe they turned this into an all-around like conferencing, video chatting, and who knows whatever other features it had. This was like the current incarnation of their chatting and connectivity software that, yeah, it looks like they've gotten rid of it. And farther back than I thought. Before reading this today, I would have thought, or more like last night, I would have thought that this was the current version of their chat software. This has replaced countless others that came before it, but apparently, like they rebrand it, they combine products together, do all kinds of goofy stuff. That's hard to keep track of. But this has, Google Hangouts. They have, cannot believe, I'm not sure what they replaced it with. I'm sure something, but this is really frustrating that they did this. That it's really frustrating that it got to this point, and even after this point, they killed this one. So even if you're an individual, I would see it as being hard to commit to this. But if you're a business, you don't want to commit resources to onboarding a product like this and getting everyone trained and used to using it, then just have it either get changed to a different product, or the way it works is changed, or it's just replaced completely or killed off. That would be frustrating. If I were a business, I would not be using this. So Google Surveys. Used to be able to do surveys. I guess they've cut that one too. It got the axe. YouTube Go. So this is just a Go app aimed at making YouTube easier on mobile devices in emerging markets. So it's gone. Barely knew it existed, but it's gone now. Google My Business app. Google Chrome apps. So yeah, Google Chrome apps were hosted package of web applications that ran on the Google Chrome browser. It was over 11 years old. I'm not sure how that whole thing worked out. Last I checked, I thought Chrome apps still exist, but I guess they've cut it. So Cormo Jobs, they've cut this, and Android Auto for phone screens. I mean, this is something that people need to have, and that if you're using your phone in the car, you'd think this would be something you want to have. This should exist purely for the purpose of having an auto app exist. For people who use their phones, they're going to want to have an auto app. So just as something to support their Android platform. As long as they have Android, why would they get rid of the Android Auto for phone screens? It's kind of crazy that they did that, but they did. Even if this even if this was not popular, they should still just keep it as something to support Android phones, but they didn't. Now, Google Duo. All right, so killed almost 2 years ago. Google Duo was a video calling app that allowed people to call someone from their contacts list. It was almost 6 years old. Okay, and Google Hangouts. Yeah, I'm not sure how Google Hangouts and Google Duo overlapped, but this is what I'm talking about. As far as I can tell, they were the same thing or had overlapping functionality. Either case, doesn't matter. There were plenty more that came before them. So G Suite Legacy Free Edition looks like they got rid of this as well. So it's their productivity suite. Yeah, so killed almost 2 years ago. G Suite Legacy Free Edition. This is a free tier offering of some of the services included in Google's productivity suite. So after 15 years, they got rid of it. Google Assistant Snapshot, Cameos on Google, Android Things, Angular J. Really, they got rid of Angular JS. Killed about 2 years ago. Angular JS was a JavaScript open source front-end framework based on MVC pattern. Yeah, this is basically a JavaScript framework, but this one, I'm going through these. A lot of these. This is the first time I'm seeing a lot of these products as being killed. I did not realize that Angular was killed. I'm actually very surprised about that one. That that is really something. Angular is killed. I don't know why they would do that. As far as I understand, that was very popular. So Streams, they've killed this. All right. So Material Gallery was a collaboration tool for UI designers. Google's Material Design. Yeah, they just don't want to commit to a product. Google Toolbar. All right, no huge loss there, but that one went all the way back to the year 2000, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of having a Google Toolbar exist, but I guess it's become less relevant. Google Sites Classic, killed over 2 years ago, so allowed people to build and edit websites. See, this is a nice thing to have. It is a nice free service, and it's pretty sad to see it go. So if you built your site on here, hopefully you had it migrated off. And if you didn't have like your own domain for it, I guess you're going to lose your URL. Or I guess you did lose your URL a few years ago when they killed it. So yeah, Your News Update, Google My Maps, Backup in Sync, all gone. Google Bookmarks, Chatbase, VR 180 Creator, Hosts on Google, Fitbit Coach, Fitstar Yoga, Tour Builder, Expeditions, Tour Creator, all gone. So Poly, they've killed this one too. All right, so we've got Google Play Movies and TV. Now this I'm really surprised. Like strategically, this just doesn't make sense. I mean, this kind of undermines Google Play. Like a lot of the services, like if you're an Android user, and I have to assume Android is still pretty important to Google. If you're an Android user, you just want to have an equivalent service, like, right? You need to have, even if Google Play Movies and TV, even if it weren't that successful by itself, you need to have it just to have an alternative to Apple's iTunes services, to all like Apple Movies and all that. You need an alternative to Apple stuff. So like the Android platform needs an alternative to what is available on an Apple iOS platform. So just to be able to compete with iPhones and stuff, like I feel like they kind of need this, and getting rid of it hurts them. Sure, there are alternatives you can use on your Android phone, but I feel like just strategically, it doesn't make sense to get rid of this. But they did, and they probably know more about their business than I do, and know more about what makes business sense. But I'm really surprised about that one. Now, I'm going to try to go through the rest of these quick because I have a long ways to go. There's a lot of these products. So I'm just going to run through these real quick and just spend time on the actual important products. So yeah, they have Measure, Zinc Render, Timely, Polymer, Google Shopping mobile app, Google Public Alerts, Google Go Links, Google Crisis Map, Google Cardboard. This is their cheap virtual reality solution. All right, Swift for TensorFlow. All right. What else do we have? Yeah, Tilt Brush, Loon, App Maker, Google Cloud Print. Kind of surprised to see that one go. Google Home Max. So this is actual hardware, stereo smart speaker. So hopefully they replaced it with something else. I know I bought Google Home stuff since more recently than this, so I believe this has just been replaced with like a newer model or something. So Science Journal, YouTube VR. Surprised to see just another YouTube feature they caught for whatever reason. All right, Trusted Contacts, Google Play Music. Yeah, same deal with like the Google Movies and TV. Google Play Music. come on, they have to have. I know people are going to use like Spotify and Pandora if they're using Android or whatever other things are available, but you'd think Google would want to offer their own alternative just to make Android more appealing and more competitive against iPhones. I just don't see why they would cut that, but I guess they did. So Nest Secure, YouTube community contributions, Hire by Google, password checkup extension, Playground AR, Vocals by North, CallJoy, Google Photos Print, Pigeon Transit, Enhanced 404 Pages, Shoelace, Neighborly, Fabric, Google Contributor, Material Theme Editor. I mean, they are pushing, or at least were pushing, the Material look for UIs. I don't know if they're getting away from that in general or if they just didn't care about this product. See, Google Station, One Today, Androidify, Google Fiber TV. So they've killed this off, but Google Fiber still exists. Hopefully just because this is a silly service that didn't need to exist. I imagine the reason they created this in the first place was just to be able to be competitive with other ISPs and like cable TV providers. Will provide TV with their service, and old people who just don't appreciate using the internet will still use products like that. People will use Verizon, and instead of just signing up for internet, they're like, oh, I need triple play. I need phone and TV service together with my internet, even though a normal person would just use their cell phone or use VoIP or something and use like an online video service. Nobody needs to sign up for a TV service. That's silly. So yeah, there's also Field Trip, killed 4 years ago. And there's AdSense, the mobile app. Now, AdSense itself still exists. They've made some questionable changes with that some people actually think they're good, but you still have the web version of this, but they've phased out the mobile app, which I don't know why they would do that. You would think if they want people to spend money on ads and stuff, that they want to keep their ad ecosystem going. They want people to access it using a mobile app, and who better to make a mobile app for it than Google? It's a Google product. And they have a platform, like they're the makers of Android themselves. They may as well make the app for this, right? But they phased it out. They already had the app. They just had to maintain it, but they got rid of it. I don't know strategically how that makes sense, but they did. Also, Google Correlate, Google Translator Toolkit, Google Fusion Tables, and Google Bulletin, Touring Bird, Game Builder, Datally, Google Clips, Google Daydream, YouTube Leanback, Message Center. Yeah, what was Message Center? Web Console for, nothing super special there, but yeah, Follow Your World, G Suite Training, YouTube Messages, YouTube for Nintendo 3DS. I mean, I guess that's kind of I could understand them not wanting to maintain it, seeing as how the 3DS is so old, but still. So works with Nest API, Google Trips, Hangouts on Air, Personal Block List, Dragonfly, Google Jump, Blog Compass, Aereo, YouTube Gaming. How did they get rid of this? So YouTube Gaming was a video game oriented service and app for videos live streaming. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that. In any case, Google Cloud Messaging, Data Saver extension for Chrome, Inbox by Gmail, Google Plus, an internet-based social network. So, given this was this was not popular, and of course that could not compete with other things like Facebook and Twitter and whatever else. But they had a unique idea there, and it used the same account that you would already have with your Gmail and everything, and it was used basically as the default for your profiles for YouTube channels at the time. So, I mean, they were kind of invested in it, and it's kind of messed up that they just got rid of the whole thing after forcing, some people to use it, like YouTubers. You had to use it for your profile and to customize your channel, and then they just go ahead and phase the thing right out. It's just weird how they integrated it in. It would have been nothing to keep it around, but they got rid of it. So, proving why you wouldn't want to, spend too much time building a profile on Google Plus rather than like Facebook or whatever else you're into, if you even like social media. But so Google URL shortener, and what else? Google Spotlight Stories, Google LO. So what was this? This was actually Google LO was an instant messaging mobile app for Android, iOS, and web with special features like virtual assistant, encrypted mode. Yeah, it was over 2 years old. So it only lasted a couple years, 2016 to 2019, and they got rid of it. So basically another chat app, right? So another messaging app. Then you also have Google notification widget, Mr. Jingles, YouTube video annotations, Google Real-Time API, Chromecast Audio, Google Search Appliance, Google Nearby Notifications, Google Pinion IME, Google News and Weather. What else? Yeah, Reply, Tez, Google Goggles, Save to Google Chrome extension, Google Play Newsstand. I don't know why they would get rid of that. You'd think that would be, strategically something they should just have, like a feature they should hold on to. Anyways, encrypted search, Google Cloud Prediction API, QPX Express API, Google Site Search. What else? reCAPTCHA, MailHide, SoundStage, Project Tango, Google Portfolios, YouTube Video Editor. Yeah, this is kind of sad to see this go, but realistically, you should be probably using a real video editor. And for people who just want to do simple stuff, kind of nice to have something like this. Kind of too bad they got rid of it. Trendalizer, GlassOS. So yeah, GlassOS for is a vision of Google's version of Google's Android operating system designed for Google Glass. It was about 4 years old, so an OS for Google Glass. And Google MapMaker, Chromebook Pixel. Yeah, and as far as I remember, Google Glass, I think it still exists, but it's being used for industrial purposes, not for consumers. So they got rid of GlassOS. I believe Google Glass still exists. I'm not sure the status of that. Any case, yeah, Chromebook Pixel. Yeah, they got rid of this. It was a first of its kind laptop built by Google that ran Chrome OS. So basically, Google built Chromebook, right? Any case, Google Spaces. Yep. And yeah, group discussions and messaging. Google Hands Free, built with Chrome. Gesture Search, Panoramio, Google Showtimes. You got Pixate, Google Nexus. So yeah, this was this is hardware. It was a line of flagship Android phones, tablets, and accessories. And this actually was replaced with the new Pixel phones and Pixel tablets, right? I think they have Pixel tablets, but yeah, anyways, the Nexus phones were replaced with the Pixel tablets. So there was a reason for this one. It wasn't like they just stopped doing phones. I believe these were running some Google software and stock Android, but they were built by a couple other companies, and now with the Pixel phones, they're all built by Google and just like designed by Google and everything. They called all the shots, and they're just manufactured by HTC now. So there's a reason for this one to go. It's not like they got out of this. They just changed the code name for it, and they're building it all themselves now. So that was actually a positive thing. Anyways, there's Together, Project Aura, web hosting in Google Drive. Wow, can you imagine doing that? And then Google Swiffy, Google Wallet Card. Wow. Yeah, Nexus Player, Revolve, whatever. Yeah, that's gone. So Freebase, Google Now, MyTracks, uWeave, Google Compare, Google Maps Coordinate, yeah, Pi, Google Maps Engine, Songza, Google Code. Wow. I think I kind of remember that one. But yeah, anyways, Google Blog Search API, Google Earth Browser plugin, Timeful, Picasa. Wow, Picasa's gone. I guess that was a long time ago, and I didn't notice it because I never used it. Google Flu Trends, Google Catalogs, Google Moderator, Android at Home, Google Helpouts, YouTube for PS Vita, Biba Pay, Google Play Edition, Google Glass Explorer Edition. So hardware right there. So Google Glass. All right. So killed about 9 years ago. Google Glass Explorer Edition was a wearable computer with optical head-mounted display and camera that allowed the wearer to interact with various applications and the internet via natural language voice commands. It was almost 2 years old, so it lasted a couple years, 2013 to 2015. And I believe, I don't know if this was the only consumer, Google Glass thing, but yeah, it looks like this was a consumer Google Glass thing, and that they now, I believe, only use it for enterprise use, or industrial use. But anyways, yeah, World Lens. So let's see, this would translate text in real time on images using, yeah. Anyways, a nice thing. They got rid of it. Orkut. What was this? Social network designed to help users meet new and old friends. Okay, so yeah, Google TV. This was actually a hardware device, and Android-based set-top boxes have been pretty popular. I don't know if they're as popular as they used to be, but they're a pretty big thing, and you'd think Google would want to fill this space, especially since they want to have feature parity, or have the same products to compete with Apple. But they do kind of approach things differently. Like Apple builds hardware and then they have services to support their hardware, whereas Google's just building services and then they build hardware to support their services. Like they build their Android phones to support, all of their Google services and stuff. So it's kind of backwards with Google, but still you'd think they'd want to have a product to compete with Apple TV, but apparently not. So yeah, looks like they axed this quite a long time ago. I remember around this time that it was pretty popular to have Android set-top boxes. I'm still surprised they got rid of this though. Anyways, yeah, and it has been a long, long time. So yeah, Quick Office got rid of this. Not too crazy surprising. Google Questions and Answers, Wildfire Interactive, Bufferbox, Slick Login, Google Schemer, Google Chrome Frame, Google Notifier, Bump, Google Offers, Google Currents, Google Checkout. Yeah, you'd think, payment processing stuff, they'd want to keep it. I'm not sure how this, plays into all their other products and why they got rid of this one, and if they just transitioned it to something else or what the deal was. But yeah, Google Trader, iGoogle, Google Latitude, Google Reader, and what was this? This was the RSS Atom feed aggregator. Yeah, I remember when they got rid of this. This was a big thing. Them talking about how, I remember reading in the news how they, they would get rid of how Google was in the habit of cutting things and how this was popular, but they were cutting it anyways. This is when I first became aware of, how Google tends to cut things. Also, Nexus Q hardware. So Nexus Q was the digital media player that allowed users with an Android device to stream content from supported services to a connected television or speakers. All right, yeah. So got rid of that. Punch D, Building Maker, Google Talk. All right, here we go. So killed 11 years ago, often remembered as GChat. So you would think they have Gmail. Why not have GChat, right? So they called it Google Talk. So this is messaging. It was a messaging service for both text and voice using XMPP. It was over 7 years old at the time, so it lasts for a while. But yeah, they got rid of it for other products. As we've seen some of the other products, they flip-flop all over the place and switch to different products. Kind of really annoying how they do that. Also, Google SMS killed almost 11 years ago. And yeah, Google SMS lets you, text questions, including weather, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's nothing special. It wasn't real communication. I think it's where you could just text stuff to Google. So yeah, I think that would have been the right call to get rid of that. Yeah, Google Cloud Connect, Picnic, Google Chart API, Google Mini. What is Google? Smaller version of the Google Web Search appliance. All right. AdSense for feeds. Google Listen. Google Refine. Sparrow. Google Insights for search. Postme or Postini. Google Video. Wow. Was a free video hosting service from Google similar to YouTube that allowed video clips to be hosted on Google servers and embedded onto their website. It was over 7 years old. I'm not actually sure when, I'm not actually sure when Google bought out and took over YouTube. but I thought they did it well before this, right? Or maybe these overlapped a little bit, but I guess YouTube replaced this, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, this is my first time learning about this, but that's kind of interesting. So Meebo or Meebo or whatever it is, got rid of that. Google Commerce Search. What else? Needlebase, Null, Google Wave, Google Flu Vaccine Finder, Google OnePass, Google Related, Urchin, Slide, Google Friend Connect, Jaiku, Google Cloud Search, Google Health, they made another programming language that's not Go or whatever else they have these days. It's not Go or Dart. It's actually, I guess, Noop. The Noop was a project by Google engineers Alex Eagle and Christian Gruber, aiming to develop a new programming language that attempted to blend the best features of old and new languages and practices. It was almost 3 years old. All right. Aperture, Google Buzz, Gears, Google Notebook, Zygot Buddy. Yeah, and Google Notebook. It was allowed users to save and organize clips of information. Yeah, that's probably kind of similar to Google Keep, I would guess. I don't know. But imagine having all your notes in something like this, and then they phase the app out and you have to transfer them somewhere else. Yeah, Google, which reminds me, I have to back up some of my stuff I have on Google Drive and in Google Docs and stuff. Google Power Meter, Google Squared, Google SideWiki, Aardvark, Google Pack, Google Desktop. They also have Google Fast Flip, Google Dictionary, Google Labs, Google Rebang, Google Directory, Google Image Swirl, Google Real-Time Search, Google Script Converter, Google Sets, Google Specialized Search, Google Hotspot or Hotpot, Gizmo 5, Real Estate on Google Maps, FFlick, Google Base, Goog 411, Bump Top, Google Search Wiki, YouTube Streams. Yeah, see, I think YouTube, they did take over YouTube way before that other video app, so I don't know why they had that other app. I don't know why that existed. But Meritech eMeetings, Google Web APIs, Google Rich Finder, or Ride Finder rather, Google Toolbar for Firefox, Google Radio Automation, Google Onto FlixCloud, Google Mashup Editor, Google Shared Stuff, Grand Central, Dodgeball, Google Audio Ads, Google Lively, Google Mash, Google Page Creator, Send a Phone, Google Browse Sync, Hello. Hello was a service by Picasa that user take pictures like you're sitting side by. All right, that's great. Google Web Accelerator, Zeitgeist, Google Click to Call. Yep, another calling thing that they made. Google Video Player. Yep, they had something like that. This existed. This is a real thing. Google Video Marketplace, of all things. Google Answers. Rightly. Google Public Service Search. Google Desk Bar. And looks like that's the end. So, yeah, first thing they axed was 2003 to 2006. Well, yeah, no, I guess that must have come before some of these. Yes, there's a few of these that were axed in 2006. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. That's all the stuff. That's everything on the list. A lot of stuff in the Google graveyard. Yeah, so if you found this video interesting, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You're definitely going to want to be subscribed. I think this video was interesting. I enjoyed making this video, but normally we try to make more helpful content than this. Sometimes I do random videos like this. A lot of times we're doing like, coding stuff, scripting stuff, automation, Linux commands, Linux stuff, setting up servers, coding, networking, 3D printers, Raspberry Pis, robots, that kind of stuff. We have all kinds of great stuff you don't want to miss out on. Definitely hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below if you have any comments or any thoughts on this. And that's about it for today. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on that next video.